Welcome to DONU'S Week, which is about what I've been up to for the past 7 days. The people I've interacted with, the places I've been to, the things I've done and not done, and the thoughts I've had. Hello everyone, thank God it's Friday. Welcome to DONU'S Week, in which I tell you what's been happening in DONU'S world for the past 7 days. Actually, not much has been happening at all. I was invited last Saturday to a Christmas fair hosted by Julius Berger, which is a big construction company in Nigeria where I am at the moment. I have a good friend who works there. I'm not sure he'd want to be mentioned on my video because sometimes I say very controversial things and he has quite a sensitive job. So let's just say I have a good friend at Julius Berger who invited me to their Christmas fair, and I'm really upset because I didn't actually make it, because I got there with my friend Nana and there was so much traffic. The road was clogged up with cars and there was a big queue at the gate, and we were really worried we wouldn't find parking space, and I don't know, we just turned around and went home in the end, very disappointed. I think one of the byproducts of age is not really wanting to be milling around in a place where you have to queue up and where there's a lot of people and you might feel a bit hemmed in. But I hear actually that I missed out big time and that the fair was a great success. So I'm really sorry I missed it. After that, no one invited me to anything since last Saturday. So I've been at home thinking, working, eating. And the thinking has been quite productive though, because I've been, sort of trying to put together some thoughts about what my New Year's resolutions will be. And I will unveil them on January the 1st. I won't tell you what they are now, but I've done a lot of thinking about my parents. I've been in a very reflective mood because there's been so little social activity or official business professional activity. So I've been thinking a lot about my late parents, Ignatius and Anne Kabara. My relationships with them were far from perfect, especially my mother, with whom things became, quite combative sometimes. And there were times when we just didn't get on. But, I miss both my parents so much. I was a daddy's girl, but I also could empathize with my mother. She was ahead of her time. And the thought of never seeing my parents again, just fills me with dread. I mean, I have to believe that when they died, they went to heaven. I have to believe that I will make it to heaven and that I will see them again, that we will be reunited. So, it's been quite an emotional week for me in the sense of having the mental space to dwell on my parents at some length and remember the good things about them. And this actually brings me on to a topic that came up yesterday, being that there are newspaper stories about the father of Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, who married Prince Harry of the United Kingdom. Okay, so Mr. Markle is apparently very ill in a hospital in the Philippines, where he lives a quiet life of retirement. Now, those of you who follow stories about the British royal family will know that Meghan fell out with her father shortly before her wedding. There may be more to the story than meets the eye, and perhaps we, the general public, have been lied to. But the reasons we've been given for this rift between Meghan and her father are that he talked to the press, allowed himself to be photographed. He did a deal with a photographer, and he wound up getting sick just before the wedding and did not give her away on her big day. I don't know all the details. I don't know what's true and what's not true. But I have yet to hear anything that the old man did that is bad enough to justify the fact that she and Harry have cut him off dead. In any case, even before the rift that occurred the week before the wedding, He had never met Prince Harry. And he has never subsequently met the two children that his daughter has had with Prince Harry. And now he's lying in a hospital in the Philippines. I don't know if he's dying, but given that he's nearly 80, I don't suppose he's in great shape. And, you know, I'm sure Meghan doesn't give a damn what I think. She certainly, I'm sure, does not watch DONU'S World, though she might have watched one of the videos I made when she came to Nigeria last year. However, all I want to say is that if she were anywhere in my orbit, I would plead with her to get on a plane with her husband and children and go and see the old man and forgive and forget. He has expressed remorse. Accept his apologies for anything he's done to upset you or offend you. And you too, I'm sure, are not perfect. You, Meghan, should also apologize to him because, in fact, the things you say, I'm now talking to Meghan directly, even though I know she's not listening, but you know what I mean. The things Meghan says that the old man did, like quoting publicity, she quotes publicity all the time. So she's a chip off the old block. He's like her. She's like him. Yeah? And I have got friends who have had parents who've done worse things, like men who have abandoned their families because they met another woman, men who have been alcoholics or physically abusive, mothers who have been emotionally abusive. Just, there's a lot of misery in the world, and some of it comes from parents. I mean, there was a British poet, a famous British poet, I think Philip Larkin, said, your mum and dad, they fuck you up, excuse my language, but that's what he said. And, in the scheme of things, Mr. Markle does not seem to me to be the worst example of parental misdemeanor. So, I think if the rest of us can forgive our parents for not being perfect, Meghan and Harry can do the same. In any case, she's also cut Harry off from his own family, or he's cut himself off from his own family. I mean, talk about a couple who are so toxic together that almost everybody around them who's supposed to be close to them is now at arm's length, So, as far as I'm concerned, as I said, if Meghan was my friend or just someone I could meet for 5 seconds, I would beg her. I would say, Meghan, please go and see the old man before it's too late, because you don't know how you will feel if he goes without you making your peace with him. Oh, another point I'd like to make about Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, is they're always going on and on and on about how amazing and philanthropic they are. They've got lots of charitable activities. They want the best for humanity. They are great humanitarians. You know what? Charity begins at home. Meghan, go and see your dad. Okay? And Harry, you need to go and say sorry to yours. Okay, just want to give a quick shout out to Pat Wask, who is by far my most loyal and dedicated viewer. Pat, I hope you don't get bored with me one day, because one of the things that keeps me going is knowing that every week you will comment on at least one of my videos, if not all of them. Sometimes you do. So I'm really grateful. I'm also grateful to Emma J Music and some of the other people who contact me fairly regularly. But Pat, if there was an award for viewers and loyalty, you would be the winner. And so just want to thank you for telling me about the delicious meals you cooked for the American Thanksgiving holiday last week. I'm salivating just listening to this list. You spent 3 days cooking. You had deviled eggs, shrimp cocktail, a relish tray comprising olives, heart of palm, artichoke hearts, baby corn, peppers, and pickles. You had roast turkey and gravy with herb stuffing, mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole, Parker House dinner rolls, sweet black cherry and walnut jello salad, cranberry sauce, 4 pumpkin pies, and homemade whipped cream, and all topped up with Veuve Clicquot champagne, which is your favorite apparently. I mean, come on. This is very unfair. Not only was I not at that dinner, so I'm very jealous, but we can't find half these ingredients in Nigeria. So even if I wanted to copy you and do something similar, No chance of that. So I'm glad you had a wonderful time with your family. Thank you for condoling me on the death of Jimmy Cliff, the reggae legend. I'm still mourning him, by the way. That was one of the thoughts I had this week is, oh, Jimmy Cliff is gone, along with my parents who also loved him. And you also talked about having flu, so get well soon. Sorry you're having challenges with you had challenges finding a doctor who would take proper care of you during the holiday period. So get well and see you next week.